Welcome back to the third in a series of videos covering Armored Brigade, the real-time tactical wargame available from www.armoredbrigade.com. Please note that the freeware version available from the website is different than the current build that I am playing with today. We've selected our map and now we need to purchase our units. For today's battle, I have opted to play, as I said, with an armored force, and I'm also told the computer that I want its side to be an armored force. But we can, before we get in and start purchasing units, we can set some values here that kind of help to shape our forces. I've allocated 7,000 points to myself, so we want to, since I'm playing with the West Germans, my units are more expensive to purchase, typically, based on several factors. Night vision, the Leopard 2s are going to have thermal imaging systems, so that boosts their cost up, and those kind of things. So first we want to make sure that the Soviet side is a larger force, and so we're going to use the AI force modifier here to increase the points available for the AI to purchase its units. I want to more than double the points available to the AI for its units that it purchases. So I'm going to use this, and as you can see, I can scroll through, and as you can see here, it'll up the combat power available for the AI when it's purchasing its units. The other key part of the combat power allocation menu is setting the force structure. In Armored Brigade, there are 6 types of forces available to a side. You have your reconnaissance units, you have your infantry units. These are straight leg units, they do not come with any kind of transportation. We have our mechanized infantry units, our armor force. These are going to be your main battle tanks, and in some instances light tanks. Support, this covers everything from off-map artillery to on-map mortars, anti-tank units, air defense units, machine gun teams, just the entire gambit of support units that are not included in the other 4 ground-based categories. And finally, we have our air units. And these percentages here dictate the amount of points that can be spent of your or the computer's combat power in a given battle. And so for today, we have a meeting engagement, so we're going to set both sides where we have 0% of leg infantry. Don't want a lot of air support in a meeting engagement. Typically we'll leave ourselves about 15% of our total points, just in case, maybe to buy a flight of helicopters just to demonstrate how that works. Actually, we'll make it 20. Maybe we'll throw in a flight of fixed-wing aircraft as well. Support, we'll bump that up a notch. And as you can see here, the total percentage is more than 100. So what this is saying here, if I wanted to, I could spend all 7,000 of my points on purchasing nothing but tanks, because I've allocated 100%. But I don't have to. It's just the maximum limit that I can do that. But since today's a meeting engagement, and I'm thinking I want to go with a mixed reconnaissance armored type grouping, we'll bump this up a little bit, and we'll leave the mechanized infantry there. And over here we're going to set the computer side, and here again a meeting engagement, so we're going to go with giving computer a larger reconnaissance force. We're going to knock their air power down, but we'll up their support, and we will leave everything else as is. And one other quick note before we move on, you can save these settings anytime you're starting a battle simply by clicking on save and selecting the setting you want, and then you can go back and load them at any time. Here I'll just click on 2. You can see that these values changed, but I can go back up here to 1, and the values that I just saved are now loaded back in here. So a little bit of if you have something in mind or a certain force structure that you want to use often, Just a great little convenient feature that we have. Alright, here I am where we actually select the units that we want to purchase for the upcoming battle. Again, you can see our categories here across the top, our point totals, and then you can see, based on the percentages that we had earlier, the total points that can be spent on any of these categories. I always like to start, if I'm going to have off-map artillery, with purchasing that first. So we're going to come down here, and you can see that for the West Germans, you purchase a 6-gun battery at a time. You can obviously purchase multiple 6-gun batteries, but they sure do eat up points right away. So today I'm just going to purchase one, and it lists the types of rounds and the total number of rounds that are available to you to use during the battle there. Up here we're going to go back and we're going to start with our reconnaissance units, and the West Germans have several different types available to them that were available to them in the 1980s. We're going to purchase just 2 sections of Leopard 1A4s, and we'll purchase 2 sections of Lux scout vehicles. When you highlight a unit here, you can go over here to the middle box, and if you scroll your mouse over it, you can see their basic stats down below there. And then also, if you left click, you can see the unit sprites, and you'll notice our high resolution Lux sprite here. Again, freeware version doesn't have the high resolution sprites, but this is one of the changes that we're really excited about. They just make the game really pop. We're going to continue on. What I want to select today, you can see the different type of options available when selecting our tank forces. You can buy either platoon size units or company size units, along with headquarter units. Headquarter units, when we'll talk about this more when we get into the gameplay and mechanics video, but they do give a boost when orders are being issued to units that are within their command radius, and shortening their command delay when you change a unit's orders. So for today's battle, we're going to go with a 2 platoons of the Leopard 2 A1, and we'll also purchase a headquarters unit while we're here. And then, as you can see, my points are quickly being used up, and because I've used 4,600 plus points here, the 2 Leopard tank companies that cost 2,600 and 2,800 points are taken away once you can no longer purchase those with your remaining points. We're going to go here. I want a platoon of mechanized infantry with me today, so we're going to go in and purchase a platoon of mortars and panzer grenadiers. You can see here in the middle it pops up with not only the APCs or the IFVs, but the panzer grenadier squad as well. And you can see it includes the number of men in the squad, and the mortars. You can see here, just like the other vehicles, have their main stats included. Alright, finally, let's look at support and air. I don't know for sure if the computer will purchase air units. It probably will, so I'm going to grab a section of Gepard flat vehicles to accompany my force, and also a section of self-propelled mortars to tag along. And then that leaves us here with our air support. Like I said, we want to get a flight of gunships so we can demonstrate how we use those in Armored Brigade, and for fun, we'll go with a flight of fixed-wing aircraft, just so you can see how those are implemented as well. We've got two to choose from. We've got the Alpha Jets, which were the West German close air support. That was their main role if and when there'd been a war in Europe at that time. Or you can go really big and go with a flight of F-4 Phantoms. But we'll go with the Alpha Jets today. And you can see what they're armed with down at the bottom, just like on the ground units. It lists the basic stats, but it's kind of with the aircraft, it lists the ordnance that they're carrying. So you can see that compared to the F4F. And we'll go with, like I said, we'll just go with the Alpha Jets today. I actually have about 1,000 points remaining, and I could use them, but we'll just leave those on the table for today, and we'll stay at this force structure that we've got here. So this wraps up video 3. The next one we'll get into the gameplay and the nuts and bolts of Armored Brigade and what really makes this game stand out.